Welcome to Legally Speaking with Attorney Antoinette Osborne. This program is for information purposes only. If you need legal advice, you can contact me, Antoinette Osborne, at 718-502-9137. That's 718-502-9137. The office focuses on divorce, immigration, bankruptcy, real estate, and estate matters. We also do eviction proceedings. There is a second office in Jamaica, West Indies, that focuses on legal representation if you are seeking to buy or sell property, or if you're looking to wrap up an estate. The office is conveniently located at 88-28 Sutphin Boulevard, Jamaica, New York, and we are also located in the Bronx at 4262A White Plains Road. We are between East 235th and East 236th Street, between Jamaica National and Mr. Sims, the accountant. As you probably have already heard, that there is going to be a transition with the radio station. There is no set time given as to how long the program is going to continue. In terms of future station, I am not sure what I'm doing as of yet. So, however, until the quote-unquote end occurs with WVIP 93.5 FM, we are still here, and prior to any form of cessation, I will let my radio listeners know if I am going to be continuing or what will be available in the future for a broadcast, or if not. All right. So, just tuning in, you are listening to Attorney Antoinette Osborne. You're listening to Legally Speaking on WVIP 93.5 FM. The program runs until 10 a.m. If you are just tuning in, the numbers to call in if you have a question, it is 718-502-9137. That's 718-502-9137. You can also text your question to 718-502-9137. And to make an appointment during the week, the number to call is 718-502-9137. So for those of you who are in a divorce proceedings, you will know that if you are in New York City or even in the boroughs, the divorces are taking quite some time. And I'll tell you this, New York City is taking, I have filed in Staten Island. But New York City is basically taking a year for your judgment. So anyone who is waiting on that divorce judgment, I think in terms of a quicker processing time, Westchester is moving quite speedily. One of the difficulties, however, that I am finding with Westchester is when there are children, and what you don't understand is when it comes to child support, the court is very vigilant. And I have had the difficulty where the person has no idea where the spouse works, what the income is. So it's not like you can even subpoena records. And I'll tell you this, the judges want to call you in on an uncontested divorce. Yeah, when it comes to provision for children, they take it quite seriously. And I am seeing that Westchester is also calling people in if they are not satisfied with the child support. So when it comes to even the uncontested with children, it is now getting complicated. I could have usually told people with the uncontested divorce, don't expect any court appearances. This is going to be all on the papers. Now, one of the concerns for a lot of people is when their immigration status is not regularized and they are a bit apprehensive in going into the court. I can tell you this, family court does not care about immigration status because they do not want, especially if someone is seeking an order of protection, they don't want people to be fearful for their own safety. So they're not really concerned with that. The only court that I have had an incident where a judge wanted to report was, and when I say report the person's status to immigration, was Manhattan. Yeah, and I was shocked because never have I had a judge, and I do the divorces in various counties, never have I had a judge who would have even suggested to contact immigration to report. But this happened to me once in Manhattan. He didn't, but yeah. Someone says, good morning, Miss Osborne. If you're getting workman compensation, can you sponsor someone in the States? Yes, you can use your workman's compensation income. What I know you definitely cannot use is your Social Security disability income. Although you can use your regular Social Security income, your Social Disability income is not taken as income. You can even use your child support that you are getting. Yeah. So just tuning in, you are listening to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osborne. We are here broadcasting on 93.5 FM WVIP. I cannot say how much longer because it's all up in the air that this show will continue. As everyone is aware, the radio station has been sold. However, until there is a changeover of hands, we are still broadcasting. If you have a question this morning, you can call in on 718-502-9137. You can also text your question to 718-502-9137. And to make an appointment during the week, the number to call is 718-502-9137. So just, I would say for clarity for some of you who are filing your uncontested divorce, because with an uncontested divorce, it is such that normally you don't make appearances. Caller, you're on the air, love.
Hello, Miss Osborne. Good morning.
Good morning, darling.
Yes, I have a question for you. If somebody live here and he have his wife in Jamaica, his daughter can file his wife?
The daughter can only file for the wife if the wife qualifies as a step parent. And that would require the parents, which is the step parent and the biological parent, to marry before that daughter's 18th birthday.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Take care. Yeah, so where in terms of parents and step parents, a child can actually file for 4 parents. They can file for their biological parents, and that's just because of the relationship. Even though they are allowed to file for their step-parent, it is such that the marriage has to take place before the child's 18th birthday. And what is sad is where people have their kids and they're going to engage in a marriage to regularize their status. And without this knowledge, their kids are here undocumented. They're depending on the marriage to regularize the child's status. And unfortunately, some people are marrying 2 or 3 days after the 18th birthday. And I'm telling this community, lack of knowledge is what is going to be a hamper for all of us. And this is why you must get yourself in the know. Listen to programs on community stations and take the advice from attorneys. A lot of you like to go out there and you like to listen to your village lawyers. I never recommend that. I have seen the harm that this can do to a lot of people. And I just want to remind everyone, after the Trump administration had brought in certain protocols where they don't care whether you withdrew the application, because back in the day you could have just withdraw the application and everything done there. And that policy memorandum, if you withdraw or if the case get denied, them not care. All they're looking at, it's not an approval, and so they get your file together to refer it, to ICE to start removal proceedings. And that is where you have an application and it has absolutely no merit. Do not put it in. The danger is, if that case gets denied, there is a possibility that you can be placed in removal proceedings. Now, if you're placed in removal proceedings and you can make your way out, for example, you have somebody else to file for you, then that's great. But when you're placed in removal proceedings and there's no way out for you, especially where you have some judges that are extremely serious and they will go through the possible venues where you could have a way out. If you have absolutely no way out, you will be ordered removed. So I'm going to encourage you, be very careful of the links that you get. And I want to caution people about filing a frivolous asylum application. If you ever in your life make the mistake and file a frivolous asylum application, I absolutely do not care. If you have a child who is now 21 who is going to file for you and is a U.S. citizen, what happens is your whole immigration history comes up when you put in any application. The files aren't thrown away. So where you have people who filed for people in the past on fake marriage certificates or fake, the village lawyer claimed that they had a U.S. born child in the past, and now it is you have a child who is 21 years old. When you have these ridiculous applications, if you qualify for a misrepresentation waiver, that's fine, but that doesn't work with asylum. Once it's a frivolous application, that's it. You are done. Yeah. So I want to encourage you. A lot of people now are crossing the borders and they are filing asylum. If that application turns out to be frivolous, that's it. You're done. They put it on the same level of marriage fraud. And it is extremely serious that you be very careful with the applications that you are making, because everything comes back to haunt you. Yeah? So get the proper legal advice. Be very candid with your attorney. A lot of people will try to hold back certain things. There are certain representations. If you come into my office and you make it, I'm not going to represent you. But there are certain representations in terms of the merits of your application we need to know. Because one of the hardest things is to put in an application for someone, and that application causes them to be in removal. For example, false claims to U.S. citizenship. You make this claim, whether you use you claim you're a U.S. citizen on a application, probably a job, that I-9. No immigrant is supposed to be claiming U.S. citizen on that I-9. You go and you use a fake birth certificate. You go to the passport office and you apply for a passport. You lose your mind and go and travel on a U.S. passport, and this is discovered. Or you just put in an application and you make this false claim after September 30th, 1996. There are absolutely no waivers for this misrepresentation. The one exception is if you are a child under 16 and both of your parents are U.S. citizens. Yeah. So a lot of people are not going to fall in that exception. And they take this very seriously. So, and especially when it can be discovered, where I have heard of people going to DMV, and that person who went to DMV and the clerk was so kind enough, when he really looked at the documents and realized that the applicant is not the person on the documents, and he just told him to leave. That was the luckiest day in that person's life. Yeah? Because when you make these claims, you are going to be barred permanently. And I want to encourage you, be careful. I know these are desperate times. They say that, creation of jobs. There are a lot of people who are still looking for jobs and are not able to find it. So I'm not sure what sort of jobs are being created. There are still people who are unemployed. There are still people who are struggling. And one of the indications you can tell that people are going through a rough time is their application for social services. Look at the food pantry lines. They are getting longer and longer, where I'm not talking about the scamming people who are looking for the food for go pack in barrels and send back to their home country. I'm talking about legitimate people who once would never even have gone or to even think that they have to go and get assistance. They are now joining the lines, and we are at a point where economically the dollar does not have the purchasing power that it used to have. Yeah? And I'm telling you this, ladies, just be very careful with the choices that you make, because to be in a single parent household, and you can't look to blame yourself, because some of them money are real scammer. Yeah, man, and are some chopper man out the road. But be very careful, because to be in a single parent household in these economic times, no sir, it's serious. The buying power of the dollar is no longer there. And they say, oh, inflation has gone up by, but these prices are going up by 100%. And that is the reality of what people are facing. And sometimes, if it continues like this, people are going to be choosing between food and shelter. You have to pay your rent. You don't have to be on the streets. Yeah? And even though the wheels of landlord and tenant court are slow to move. Ultimately, you are going to get evicted. Pay your rent, and this is where I'm going to encourage a lot of you. Pay your rent. Some of you, you're buying BMWs, and I think you're unrealistic, especially when you come from the islands. One of the first things your parents should teach you is you cover the roof over your head. A lot of you making payments on a clan come in, and our husband are depend nothing. You know what kind of car I'm buy? Porsche. Yeah. Big one. Oh, you gotta pay them payment there. Let's get real. I find people are unrealistic. You're not being practical. You are putting your hat where it can't reach. Young people, do not follow these fools. A lot of them that you see, they're flossing and they are living these pretentious lifestyles. Everything comes to a halt, and bankruptcy court is always there for you. Young people, it's not what you earn, it's what you save. Do not follow these fools and put yourself in extreme debt. Yeah? Protect your future, protect your credit. A lot of them you're seeing buying BMWs, they can't afford it. And I can't understand why. Oftentimes when I see somebody get pulled over, them driving that car, you can't afford it. You not buy BMW, you not buy Mercedes to impress who? People when they not got you hard time, they've not give you not dollar. Where? That makes sense? Watch your ride now. Benz, BMW, some man all are stretching themselves and put rope round on the neck and buy Maserati and don't own a house. That don't make no sense. Young people, try bill. Because when you reach a certain age, yeah, and you're healthy now, at least I hope you're healthy, because young people usually healthy. I usually see with a whole heap of problem. After a while, when you reach a certain age, every striking crisis take you, yeah? More encouraging of what you want to eat, yeah? Watch how you spend your money. Try and see if your house, even if you have to move down south, right now I'm in a care, you need for bill or on the air, love. I'm going to encourage you to bill. And for those of you who are in marriages, I want you to understand, from the day you get married until the day you file a divorce, your assets that are coming in are marital. And if you are with a spouse, they are not moving with you. One of the first things, yeah? Because I understand once you reach divorce court, it's going to divide. I'm hoping for a lot of you don't reach there. But once you do reach there, there's going to be a division. And one of the first things you should do, if you are a very ambitious person, yeah? Make sure your spouse is moving along with you in terms of their ambition. It's hard for me to hear, I ask her to get a job, she don't want to work. Yeah? Why? Then 15, 20 years later, you're getting a divorce, you're the only person working, it's your monies that have acquired most of the assets. You better believe you're coming out 50-50 in a long-term marriage. Long-term marriages are more inclined to 50-50. And any judge will look at you and let you know you are the person who decided to stay. You see the deadbeats are riding a back. One of the first things you're supposed to do, because if you're a person who truly loves the person you're with, you're going to try and uplift them. I would hope that's what you're looking to do. So you want the person to move with you. And marriage is not about love. You have to understand this is an economic partnership. People get interest in your pension. Yeah? People get interest in the material assets that you are acquiring in your marriage. Yeah, your spouse is there. Your spouse is supposed to be supporting you through the vicissitudes of life. If you want to pick up crosses, Jezebel, don't care, who have not done so, but you're still with them in the same house, 15, 20, 25 years, you're looking ridiculous now, complaining. You had the option, yeah? You had the option to decide that this really isn't going to work, and you sat in that mess. This is where you sit in your own filth for years. And when the filth has dried on you, yeah, and in a divorce proceedings you are now complaining, this is not a case of the last to realize. You saw that. You were in that. And that person was in your house with you. You better believe your money going to get divided. I can't encourage you enough. Watch the lives you're living. One of the worst things is, I tell anybody, the hardest thing for me is where people have been with their spouse for 20, 30 years. That's somebody's, that's like a lifetime. Yeah? Half of some people's lives. And you are coming now to file a divorce. And it's tough, but some people just really don't have another choice. Some people will just get up and say, look, I want out. And they have moved on. I don't think the other spouse, the hardest thing is where one spouse wants to leave and the other person wants to keep the marriage. I'll never forget my client from the Philippines. We're in a settlement conference and she couldn't understand. I think one of the things is she could not get pregnant. And here comes the mama-in-law. I'll never forget my client. Oh my God, she was a beautiful girl. But she couldn't get pregnant. And the mama was not approving this. 10 years they married now and she not getting a grandchild. So she had waste her son time. She not care how she pretty like money. Yeah? And I think one of the things is she got sick and she was able to get over her sickness. But the woman not care. You can't produce a grandchild. You have to go. So the woman now come in like thunder. Yeah? And lightning. And she got destroy this, she got mash this up. Yeah? And boy still the under mama frat tail. So what the mama says goes. Yeah? So mama start arrange now. Because she realize, say, you not give me a grandchild. She got take a flight to Philippines and she got find our son a wife who can bear a child. Yeah, man, and the mama come in like thunder and lightning and destroy everything. Yeah. And her in that conference, and she just broke down. And she could not deal with it. And as I looked at her husband, that man had absolutely no feelings for her. No empathy. King catch a fire now. Mama bring girl from north, south, east and west. So in turn at boy now. Boy out the road you even look upon that. In turn at boy now. Cause enough girl out of Philippines want him. Or probably them want an opportunity. Who knows? Client couldn't come to terms with it and she literally Yeah? I mean, a girl like that. The mama come in, take your son. Pack him up. Take your son. Your man is a different girl. Me not fight with no mama. Couldn't manage it. And when I tell you, living eye water, so till me and the other attorney we sit down there, we turn fool. I would never expect this. And she start, once until she start speaking a Tagalog, I think that's the language. Yeah, man. And she chat to him and me, watch this drunk boy. No feelings. And young people, I'm going to encourage you. Look to see, prior to marriage, what is really important to your spouse. Yeah? Because if there are certain things you do not have the ability to do, then it's going to come to head. It's either you go, especially for women who cannot have children, it's either you're going to get born, yeah? Because the man them will tell you, and I've heard this before. Husband will look at the wife and say, you can go, but I'm not giving up my child. So when him walk out and have like 3 picnic on you, yeah. And some, I have a sister who say, marriage is not just, it's not just love, but it's how it can benefit you. And you will have women who will stay. They have gotten used to a certain standard of living. Because some people just like a lifestyle. Go ask up at St. Andrew. Some people want a certain lifestyle. So them no care say them husband have man pan them. A yes of society reach now. Them no care. Them husband live alternative lifestyle. They are used to a certain standard of living and they're not leaving. For some, they don't care if the man have 10 picnic out the road. He's providing food. He's providing shelter. So those marriages are going nowhere. Because them have certain stomach. You have husbands and wives living completely different lives. So they will never see a courthouse because they have accepted that relationship. And it's fine with them. But for those of you where you have different goals, young people, prior to jumping this broom, I'm sorry, not every culture jump the broom. Prior to exchanging your nuptials, I'm going to encourage you, find out what your partner expects out of the marriage. Because you can't fulfill that goal, you're wasting your time. Just tuning in, you're listening to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osborne. If you have a question this morning, call-in number is 718-502-9137. You can also text your question to 718-502-9137 to make an appointment during the week. The telephone number to call is 718-502-9137. So, life, yeah? Sometimes you want to rub a nickel and get $1. It's not going to work. I find people are unrealistic. This is the partner you picked up in life. How did you expect him to move from a frog to an Adonis in your relationship? I find people's expectations, it's not practical. And people will think that I'm very rough. And there's truth in that. I can't take nonsense, fam. Are you mad? Yeah. I find people are unrealistic. And some of your spouses are with you because it's convenience. It's complacency. And some people, their marriages are hanging by a thread. And they'll hold on. Especially if you get sick in that household. So that 10, 15, 20 years life sentence they were serving, it's going to come to an end. Because it is the expectation of an inheritance. That's why some people are still there, waiting and waiting, like your children, who you have enabled all these years, who are in your homes, not doing anything, and they're just waiting. Yeah. And for those of you, I know from me, I encourage my clients, I do not like to put children on deeds. I don't know what kind of spouse you pick me, I got get up. Don't know. But what I've tried to do to facilitate parents is, because I don't know what devil your children is going to take. So in order to protect you, so that these kids don't put you out, yeah? I like my clients to retain a life interest in the property. So during their life, because them not care what you do after them gone. And for my clients that are adamant that they want to add their kids, I let them retain a life estate. So whilst they're alive, you have to shut them out. Yeah. Because some of you are planning for things that you have not worked for. And your parents work hard. They come as immigrants to this country. They work hard. So you're not going to benefit so quick. Yeah. Because I've seen where children have gone on deeds. Parents have been removed. The new spouse comes in. And the parent gets put out. Some of you don't know what's ahead for a lot of you. Be very careful with your deeds. Yeah. Just tuning in, you are listening to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osborne. If you have a question this morning, you can call in at 718-502-9137 to make an appointment during the week. The telephone number to call is 718-502-9137. You can also text your question to 718-502-9137. For those of you who are your family members are waiting for an appointment at the embassy as a result of the backlog, it is a long wait and people are getting frustrated, but the embassy has not forgotten about you. Time is the master and you just have to wait. Yeah? And for your relatives who have waited a substantial time and the interview is now here, just remind them, yeah, make sure that that police report has not expired. You have to encourage them, look at your police record, make sure your passport still have at least 6 months on it. These are important things that they have to be aware of. One of the saddest things, they go and I'm going to encourage you, make sure that you send your transcripts so that they can take to the interview. I'm trying to ensure that you have no delays in your application. And it's sad where you have spouses, and spouses, you need to be very honest. It should not be in my office that you're finding out that your spouse was arrested in the past. Because me not date you, me not there with you. So my mouth not have filter, me I do my job. Yeah? So, you can't be that comfortable with me and not with your husband. If the person is going to accept you, then they have to accept your criminal history. Yeah? Some criminal history we just can't deal with. Like the people them who in a pedophilia. Yeah, we can't deal with that. But let's get real. You're dating someone, and young girls, I'm going to encourage you with this. You're dating someone, ask questions. Yeah? Very important. Ask questions so you can get the states where they have lived. I'm encouraging somebody this morning. Get them, you yourself have to get into the business of doing biometrics investigation. Want to get them address? This is not like the islands where somebody you can't send to somebody file. It no work that way right here, so. Yeah? So go on the Department of Corrections website. Check out them criminal history. Yeah? Go on. I don't care how I've had clients like, yeah, you could have put in an application for them to be a priest. By the time me done with them, I'll mean a cold sweat with them criminal history. Hello? Young girls and young men. Because not all of them are so pure and virtuous. Yeah? Department of Corrections website. You need to know them criminal history because not everybody is forthcoming. The state sex offender website. Yeah? I want to see whether or not they are registered. Yeah? Google them. I'll Google will help you now in your life. I find, especially as island people, we are trusting. Why? Because the level of nonsense that you face here, you're not going to face in other islands. Yeah? People's genders are changing. You need to make inquiries. Me not care kind of baby picture you have. You need to make inquiries. Yeah? Anyone who has been to any organization really, and they've taken your biographic information, you're going to be in shock. Yeah. Get ready for it. Okay, so we are close to the end of the program. You've been listening to Legally Speaking with Attorney Antoinette Osborne. Telephone numbers to call is 718-502-9137. You can also text your question to 718-502-9137. And it is the same number to call during the week. That's 718-502-9137. So I want to encourage someone who has their relatives back home. You have to... Hold on, let's read this text message. Good morning, Miss Antoinette. I filed for my husband in 2018. He went to England in 2019. I heard from immigration he was approved. They requested second payment, which I did not send. He's now getting through in England. We are married since 2009. 2009? Could I file for him from England? All right. So, if the person is in England, usually they would go by the place you initially said you're going to be interviewing, yeah? Now, if the person is in England, as long as he has legal status in the country, I don't see the difficulty in changing the post. So when you're looking to file for someone in a country, make sure they have legal status there, yeah? If for some reason it's a problem to the embassy, yeah? That's the reality. All right, just a reminder, I cannot say for how much longer this program is going to be on WVIP 93.5 FM. In the upcoming weeks, if there are any changes, I will announce it on my show. Till then, it is business as usual. And if you have a need for legal services for divorce, immigration, bankruptcy, real estate or estate matters, or if you have a real estate issue or an estate issue in Jamaica, West Indies, you can call the office at 718-502-9137. That's 718-502-9137. For those of you who are filing your immigration cases, especially for parents and children, I'm going to encourage you, look at the date of registration of the child. When you have late registration of your children and it's reflected on the birth certificate, I know for some people, back in the day when you were not married and you got pregnant, a lot of people let like them sister register the child. Yeah? Then they're looking to correct the birth certificate. Late registration in filing for a child or filing for a parent creates a fraud trigger. And I am going to encourage you, for your people that are out of the country and they're having kids, ensure, because we never know where our future is going to go, yeah? And you are born in one place, in your adult life, that may not be where you're deciding to rest. So if this is needed, then of course you're going to go through an immigration process. I can tell you this, with the U.S. immigration system, with late entries, late registration for your children, you have to overcome a fraud presumption, yeah? All right. Someone texted, "Hi, Miss Osborne. If someone filed an affidavit of support for you, what do you need to do to clear the person from that responsibility?" I'll tell you this. Anyone signing an affidavit of support, you are liable for 10 years or unless the person becomes a U.S. citizen before that. For spouses who have filed for another spouse, I don't care if you divorce them before the 10-year mark, you are still going to be liable on that affidavit of support. It is a contract that you enter into with the government, and you do have contractual obligations. For some states, if the person, that's why I always try to guide you, don't sign this document for no person who is a deadbeat, yeah? Because some states use the affidavit of support when you collect government assistance to come back and sue the sponsor. And that's why you have to be very careful who you sign this document for. Because if it is that the person is going to be, you have some people who just, it is their entire desire to live on the system. Me personally, me like hustlers. But like people who go out there, go look their money. Yeah? Them not sit down and them not depend upon nobody to support them. But that's not the case with everybody. Some people have an entitled mentality and they think that you owe them. So I think I saw once where this lady said, I have 10 kids. Who's going to support them? What? No, sir. We can't do this. We're done. Lady, who touch you like clothespin, make your leg go, so I expect somebody to mind them picnic there? No, sir. We can't do it. So someone texted, good morning, Miss Osborne. I just wanted to say thank you for my husband just received his 10-year green card. I came to you in 2017 for a consult, and you told me I can do it. I won't have a problem. Thank you for keeping up the good work. God bless you. I'm now working on his citizenship. Very good. Very good. All right. So we are at our crossroads where we are about to complete this morning's program. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osborne. To make an appointment during the week, telephone number to call is 718-502-9137. That's 718-502-9137. As a reminder, the office focuses on divorce, immigration, bankruptcy, real estate, and estate matters. We also do eviction proceedings. There is a second office in Jamaica, West Indies, that focuses on legal representation. If you are looking to buy or sell property in Jamaica, or if you are wrapping up an estate. All right. What can I tell my listeners this morning? I think for this past week, everyone has been a bit antsy because of the uncertainty as to what is going to happen with the station. Me personally, I am not sure what I am doing. It is something I'm not sure whether I'm going to continue or what the Lord has in store. Look, God never make a mistake yet. And that's my outlook on life. I understand people have been upset at this, and rightly so, because I think it is the way how things are being done. But that's just life. And, sometimes in life the chips, let them fall where they lie. And I don't think anyone should be at such a point where there's a lot of hostility. Me personally, not gonna work. I'm just not that person. And if it continues, it continues. And if a different venue is obtained, I will tell my listeners, yeah? It's courteous thing to do. All right, so you're listening to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osborne. We are at the end of the program. To make an appointment during the week, the telephone number is 718-502-9137. 7. Once again, that number is 718-502-9137. You can text your request for an appointment at 718-502-9137, or you can contact the office by calling. The number is 718-502-9137. I hope you have a blessed Sunday. Remember, take some time to spend with your family, to spend with your loved one. Time is promised to no one. Make use of it. I find we focus on the wrong things, and you want to focus on the right things when it's too late. Sunday, and you know Sunday in the islands, everybody's usually home. You come to America, it's a little bit different. But try and spend time with your family. I cannot encourage you enough. Have a blessed Sunday and a prosperous week.
WVIP and WVIP HD1, New Rochelle, a Whitney Global Media Station.
Professor Karamo, the world's most sought-after spiritual healer, has the answers to questions you need answers for. Feeling defeated? Africa's chief crusader, the channel for spiritual, moral, physical,